And we are live-ish. Live. Let's go. We're live, baby. Hold on, let me edit the stream name. Week 6. NFL Week 6. As you can see, we got our other Licks and Locks member on here, Nate, or Wiffle
Happy to
Ball.
be on. Happy to
Football
support the
728.
boys after 5 weeks of a pod, or how many weeks is this now?
Yeah, it looks like week 6, I think, right? Claudia, week 6.
This is
Yep.
our
Or this is our 5th, though.
fifth
Yeah.
week because we didn't do week 1.
I'm gonna try not to complain about my Baltimore money line ticket from last week as much as possible.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, that was a joke.
All right. So yeah, let's kick off maybe a little recap to start.
Yeah, Baltimore. Lamar, what happened? Fumbled, I think, again, didn't he? Maybe I'm wrong.
Call the 50-50 ball, jump ball on 3rd and goal, and just absolutely brutal.
Oh,
All you
yeah.
needed was 3 there. All you needed was 3 there from the 5-yard line. You
Yeah,
could have fucking knelt the
let's
ball.
talk about the receivers, though. I mean, what in the world were they doing out there?
I mean, they did.
They were so many drops. Bateman dropped a wide open touchdown in the end zone, literally in his hands. He just dropped it. No one around, just dropped it. 2-yard pass, 5-yard pass. Deep ball was dropped. Aguilar right through his hands. Multiple other drops. Zay Flowers missed a deep one across the middle. These were easy catches too. Not even guys in the same capacity of them.
Yeah. I'll say this. Whatever. Yeah, they had some drop balls, but there's no excuse for Lamar's fourth quarter turnovers. He's absolutely terrible in the fourth quarter. He's got the majority of his turnovers come in the fourth quarter. As a franchise quarterback, you simply can't be doing that to cost your team's games. He fumbles the ball, throws interceptions. I put the loss on his shoulders. Say what you want about the
Do you have any
drops.
stats for that fourth quarter?
Sure. Give me 1 second. Nate, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they had 0 drops from receivers for the first 4 weeks, and then had 8 drops in one game.
Jesus,
Definitely
8
didn't help
drops.
Lamar out at all. Yeah, it just didn't help Lamar out enough. I mean, that defense definitely did enough. I mean, that Pittsburgh offense is terrible. Don't get me wrong. Like, jury's completely out on Kenny Pickett, in my opinion. I mean, I was somewhat high on him coming into the season, but completely anti-Pittsburgh, looking to fade Pittsburgh most of the year.
Wow.
I agree. They stink. They're bad.
Interesting. They are bad. But you're gonna fade them all year, Nate. Not giving them any
Gonna
chance.
try and find some spots, probably not in like divisional spots, but just spots where they just will lullaby themselves to sleep, and just against good
Right.
defenses.
Yeah,
Right,
so
makes sense.
Lamar's turned the ball over combined 11 times in the fourth quarter or overtime of one-score games over the past 3 seasons, which leads the NFL. So, one-score games in the fourth quarter or overtime, he's turned it over 11 times, and that leads the NFL. I'll say it louder for the people in the back. Lamar Dick Riders.
But don't get me
Excuse my
wrong,
language.
Lamar doesn't have the wide receiver room comparative to most of the league. I mean, you could definitely say his receivers are below average in general. I mean, they're not. It's not a wide receiver core that you look at and go, they're a top 10 receiving core.
Yes, I
Oh,
agree.
not at all.
They're
Pickens
probably
is their
bottom 10.
good,
They're
but
bottom 10.
yeah, they're not that good.
Yeah. Moving on, I mean, another big. I'll talk about maybe 3 big games. So that one, Buffalo Jaguars. My non-biased thing. I don't get into excuses into the London, the time difference. We were slow and none of that. We did not play good football, or we played okay football, but in situational times, third downs, third and longs, that type of football, we did not play good football. We bailed the Jaguars out a few times with bad penalties, and we failed to convert third downs. As simple as that. We could not convert third downs.
There just wasn't any first down or second down explosiveness whatsoever from the Bills offense. I mean, it was just very basic inside runs and just trying to throw balls across that front seven. And that front seven is good. I mean, they're not amazing stalwarts, but they're good enough, and there just was no rhythm, no explosiveness, so it couldn't open the game up for Allen to go deeper and have progressions and reads down the field. The game didn't open up for him that way, and I kind of blame Dorsey. Dorsey's been all over the place with his play calling. He's had some games where he's been great in terms of game plan, example Miami game, but then he's had games where he looks absolutely lost out there like the Jets. I mean, it's just against good defenses, he just doesn't seem to know how to game plan well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it seemed like we were too conservative, trying to just play the check downs too much. Like, I wanted us to get back to Bills football, rifling the ball downfield, big plays, explosiveness, having fun out there. I mean, we looked boring and just slow. I think Dorsey with his play calling limited what Josh Allen could do against that Jaguars team. And again, do we just have a mental block against the Jags? When is the last time we beat them in the regular season? I mean, we lost to them last year in the regular season. Bad upset. Maybe we beat them before that, but they kicked us out of the playoffs a few years back too with Tyrod Taylor. We just always seem to not show up against the Jags.
I mean, let's not compare that Tyrod Taylor Jags team to what the Bills team is now.
Right, I agree.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, how much of this game was the scheduling though? The Jags sat in London for a week and a half, 2 weeks, after beating Atlanta 23-7 and no sweat win, and then all of a sudden the Bills have to fly in after beating up on one of the best teams in the league and the Dolphins. Have to fly in Wednesday and have 4 or 5 days to prepare for the game Sunday. The Jags were just chilling in London, waiting and preparing for the Bills. I mean, I think it was a terrible scheduling spot by the NFL, and they have to do better going forward. Jags play there every year, but two weeks in a row is just crazy to me.
I mean,
And then the Bills have to adjust to the time change when the Jags are already adjusted the week before. Like, I don't get it.
yeah,
How
I
much of
mean,
that does play in?
so besides a loss on our record, we took more losses in that game personnel wise. Matt Milano going out, Daquan Jones. I mean, huge losses. And we just lost Trey White the week before. How do we recover from that on the defensive end?
not to steal somebody else's idea, but Harrison Phillips is out there in Minnesota, and God knows what's going to happen with that team after they put Jefferson on IR. So, not to steal Reed's idea here, I'll give him full credit, but calling him in because McDermott loves to, for some reason, call guys that have been in previous systems with him. I mean, we signed Norman, so it's just something we do. I don't know if it's just a body that just knows the system well, and that's what he trusts in terms of getting a higher talent guy. I don't know what's out there, but gonna need to bring in probably one more body at least just to figure out this defense. Probably a linebacker.
Yeah, I completely agree. A cornerback, linebacker, just show me something. Bring in a vet. Bring somebody else other than Norman as well to help this team.
So
It's depleted on defense right now.
I will say though, I'm not hitting the panic button yet on the defense. Got two reasons for you. One, our D line is still pretty much intact. We're okay. We can cause pressure to make it easier on our linebackers and our secondary. Thing two, we paid Josh Allen money to go score us points. If the defense gives up 40 points, we go score 42 points. We score more points on offense. We do not need to worry about our defense. That's what Mahomes is paid for. Your Joe Burrows. Tom Brady had good defenses, but even Tom Brady, your QB in there is to go win you games, score you points. We're not going to get by. You don't get by in today's NFL by beating good teams by scoring 21 points. Can't do it. So that's my last thoughts on that. Any of you guys got takes before I move on?
Thoughts on the offense 100%. I mean, that defense does what they can with how banged up they are to allow, 24, 25 points. I mean, your offense has to find a way there. I mean,
Right.
you just slept walk from having to come overseas. I mean, I don't know. You can't blame it on the loss. I don't really blame the NFL.
Yeah.
Everybody has to do it every so many years. I
Right.
mean, it's just you just kind of lollygag through the first half and just nothing really opened up till fourth quarter. And by then it was almost too little too
And
late.
I mean, and if we want to talk about the sleepwalking through the game, I blame McDermott or whoever's idea was to go over there on Friday. Why would we
Wow,
go
so it
there
was
on
Friday?
Friday?
It wasn't even Wednesday?
No,
Wow,
we
that's
flew
interesting.
across the pond on Friday. That's just dumb. How do you expect your guys to get up and play Sunday? Yeah, and when you're jet lagged, You're not jet lagged right away when you get there. It takes a day to set in. Like it does. That Sunday, we were probably exhausted. I'm not making excuses for it. We got just beat, and it is what it is. And I think though going on to the next like the big game was that 49ers and Cowboys game. I thought that game was game of the week. Yet the score didn't reflect game of the week, but previous Cowboys and Niners battle to see who probably is the second best team in the NFL besides the Bills. I'm going to start off with a take here. I still don't think the Niners are that good. Dak Prescott threw 3 interceptions, looked absolutely horrible. The Niners defense is kind of what put them in the game a lot with those 3 picks, but I still don't think they're that talented. Um, I think it was more the Cowboys playing bad. I'm not going to give full credit here to the 49ers. Yes, they did score on drives, short fields, a lot of those from turnovers, but I don't think they're that good.
Yeah, I mean, I have a question here. Are the Dallas Cowboys frauds? Are they frauds? Let's talk about that for a second here.
I mean, how many
That
times have they
little.
lost out in the divisional or the wild card over the past years? I mean, in terms of playoff, I mean, they always do bow out. But I mean, I think it was just a one-off for Dak. I don't think they're really as bad as they truly played. I think the San Francisco defense played super, super well. I think Purdy was super efficient through the air, 17 of 24 with 4 touchdowns. I mean, you can't ask for a better stat line than that. I mean, Dak only had 8 first downs. He just could not find receivers, and I thought his receivers played okay, but that San Francisco defensive line and defense in general is very swarming and turnover, just havoc creating. That defense is the best defense in football, I think, beyond Philly.
Yeah, I think so too. And like you said about the Cowboys being frauds, I mean, it's hard not to say no until they prove otherwise. They always seem to come up short in tough spots or in big spots. They do not show up. I mean, it's happened year after year after year. Before the season, yeah, I get their America's team. They're hyped up, super good defense. You know, Dak Prescott. He's been sitting in that like maybe top 10 range. I don't have him in my top 10, but 10 to 15, top half of the league QB wise. And he's got guys like CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. Who else has he had on that? He's got Brandon Cooks now, or Brandon Cooks. He's got who they had Amari Cooper for a little bit. They've had players. Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard now. That is a good roster, and I
Tony
mean
Pollard.
Dak Prescott is not playing well. Kyle, can you unshare your screen, please?
Why?
Just because, like, when I'm
Oh, my bad. I
doing
didn't
the
mean
clips,
even.
it kind of just, like...
Alright.
But I had your thing on there from the fraud thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I say they're frauds. Do you think they're frauds? I know you were fired up on Twitter.
Yes.
Check them out on Twitter at KSEO, the sports guru / troll, or whatever it is.
Internet troll.
Internet troll.
Well, anyways, yeah, I do think this team is frauds. You know, maybe a little bias from the bet I had, and I added more live on them, 7.5, which went completely south. But yeah, I think they're complete frauds. I mean, this team just can't get it together in big spots, like you said, Eladio. The Niners in the playoffs last year knocked them out. What was that? Divisional round, wild card. Year before that, wild card divisional round, knocked them out again. Dallas has a third revenge spot in a regular season game where really, I mean, there's not a whole lot of pressure on the team. Sure, you want to go out and beat the Niners, but they come up short in a big spot again, and in a big way, they lose 42-10. It seems like anytime this team gets in a big game against a big team, they fold. Dak, yeah, I'm kind of out on Dak right now, and Tony Pollard absolutely screwed me over in fantasy. So not on great terms with him right now.
Yeah,
He needed to have me 10 points, and he gets me 8 points, and I lose 134 to
yeah,
133.
that's a rough one. Now I want to toss this question up to you. You're saying this team is fraudulent. So,
Yes,
what credit are you
absolutely.
giving to the 49ers being good about this win? If the Cowboys are frauds, how good of a win was the 49ers? We can't sit here and say that it was a big win and a great win for the 49ers if we're saying the Cowboys are frauds. I mean, that doesn't add up to me. I don't know
Yeah, I
what
mean,
your guys' thoughts on that is.
I'll give the Niners half credit. I do think they're a juggernaut, undefeated team. They've beaten everybody they've played. And the one thing I'll say with the Niners, any game where it's like, oh, this is a huge game, it's going to be close or whatever, here come the Niners to handle business. Defense gets turnovers. Purdy plays perfect. Looking Purdy out there. Um, Kittle 3 touchdowns. Anytime this team needs to come up in a big spot, they do, it seems like. And also, Brock Purdy hasn't lost a game yet. I think this team is for real. The only reason why they lost the Eagles really last year, probably because Purdy's elbow. Maybe they would have lost in that game in the conference championship. I don't know, but I mean Purdy's undefeated. This team's rolling. I think they're legit, and I think Dallas is frauds. I think it's both.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Purdy has all the weapons around him. I mean, he has a very
Yep, that's
talented
true.
group of receivers and backs around him. I mean, it makes life easy for him, but he has played Super Bowl. I don't think you can say it's like a bad win for the 49ers for beating Dallas. I mean, I think it does say more about Dallas than the 49ers, but I don't think you can take anything away from that 49ers defense causing all the havoc they did, along with Purdy playing extremely efficiently. I mean, that's what they need him to do. They don't need him to throw the ball 35 times because they have all these superstars around him. Get the ball to your playmakers and get it out quick.
Right. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think that probably wraps up our recap. I mean, does anyone else have any big games that maybe they thought they want to talk about, share something on? Um,
I just want to talk
Wow,
about
was
the
New England
Niners
bad.
just a little bit more real
horrid
quick.
New England. My God, they're so
They are
bad.
bad.
They're
They are
worst
very
team in the
bad.
NFL probably. They are probably the worst team in the league.
We had calls for Bailey Zappi after the first pick six,
Yeah.
4 seconds into the game. So.
The team is horrible. I will say this. Call me crazy. I don't know who said it. It was the ESPN guy, the whatever Tony Romo's backup, rides the Chiefs. Can't think of his name, but he said you put Mac Jones in that 49ers system, he succeeds. I agree. But
Yeah, one last thing on the Niners. I'm gonna rip you guys off these next 5 games they play, and let me know who beats them. We got at the Browns this week.
the Browns beat them.
Okay, potentially at the Vikings next week. Or versus the Bengals at home the week after that.
The Bengals beat them.
Okay, and they go to the Jags at Jacksonville,
Jacksonville Jaguars
and then
beat
they
them.
play the Bucks at home.
And they
Who
might
beats
slide
them
by
in
that
those
one.
next 5 games?
I mean, I have
Two
the
potential I could see is the Browns and Jags, but I think they rip through the Bengals at home, rip through the Vikings on the road, and rip through the Bucks.
yeah, I mean, I have the Browns and Jags beating them pretty convincingly. For
Schedule does get harder though, I will admit.
yeah, I have the Browns and Jags beating them. To be honest, Jaguars look like a top team in the league right now after beating the Bills, and the Browns got top defense. Look for Deshaun Watson to get healthy. Yeah, we'll talk about that game this week actually. If I'll give you my thoughts on this one in a little bit. But no, in real talk, yes, they probably ripped through those games pretty convincingly.
I mean, and just my opinion on them right now is this team looks unbeatable. They pretty much look perfect. The defense rolls, the offense. Purdy does his thing. Doesn't have to do much, but he does his thing. He doesn't turn the ball over. He makes the right plays. I mean, I see an offensive and defensive juggernaut all around here. I don't see a team that can beat him right now.
Yeah, I agree. Do we want to jump into some fantasy football?
Yeah, at the format that we wanted to go in. I know Nate had a way he wanted.
Oh yeah,
Or
no,
yeah,
I just want to
injury
talk about the
news.
injuries.
Yeah, injury news, and then we can do that.
Injuries, fantasy. Yep.
Obviously, I think the first clear one is just
Yeah, give us
Jefferson
a
going
rundown
on
here,
IR.
Nate. Give the rundown.
Jefferson going on IR. Obviously, KJ Osborne and Addison getting more touches. Osborne being the one that's more available in leagues compared to Addison. Chark for Carolina. I like it as a good flex spot in places. Thielen's still the number one there, but I think he is getting his own touches and an uptick in touches in the recent weeks. Reynolds, dependent on the Amon-Ra news. Obviously, if he comes back and plays, his usage will go way down. But just depending, keeping an eye on what Amon-Ra does during the week, if he practices or not, and being able to take a stab there if you do need it for like another flex spot. And then obviously, a lot of people don't like this one, but I like Kadarius Toney if you can find him in some leagues. With the Kelsey news, if he doesn't come back 100%, I mean, he came back and returned in the game and looked fine, but who knows what could happen if it's a lingering thing or a long-term thing. Just keeping an eye on like Kansas City receivers. The only issue with that is Mahomes loves to spread the ball out when Kelsey isn't there. I mean, he targets like 12 different guys if Kelsey isn't playing.
Yep.
Yep.
Got any other big injuries, or is that about it?
Oh, I definitely missed him. No, I definitely
Yeah,
missed him.
there's
No, I just have.
Devin Achane from the Dolphins.
Just got moved to
He's out
IR.
multiple weeks. That's gonna be big. I think on your waiver wire, go get Jeff Wilson Jr. if he's there. And if he's not there, watch out for the rookie Chris Brooks. He had 9 touches for 66 yards in that game against the Broncos when they destroyed them 70-20, I believe it was. But I mean, can't be too hard to get that against them. But yeah, I would. Chris Brooks, he's a rookie. Maybe look for him. The flex option / bench stash. But yeah, Achane is a bad injury for the Dolphins. He was playing big time. And then what about JT? Should we talk about JT? How we think he's gonna be for the Colts?
I'm gonna give Zach Moss his flowers here. I mean, I'm starting to think that the Bills messed up. To be honest, we do have James Cook, but I mean, I feel like we messed up with Zach Moss the way he's performing right now. He is playing like his stats show he is a top 5 running back in the league right now. But
Yeah.
how that affects JT, I think they just have a nice little committee there with those two. Split them touches, and then Anthony Richardson got hurt this week, but then you throw him into that committee because he runs a lot with the ball. I mean, hopefully with these running backs, he does not start to run a lot because his injuries. He's been hurt twice this year. He's gonna miss another game because he's hurt. Well, he's gonna miss multiple games actually. So that's a big loss.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a
Moss-
huge step down with
Right.
Gardner Minshew. I think Minshew's
No,
very
it's not.
serviceable at
He is.
quarterback.
I agree. He is serviceable.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Just on the JT situation, I think they paid him way too much money to have him get that many touches as he did. I don't know how much they ride this Zach Moss wave. If the Bills had the line that the Colts have, even though the Bills line is slightly improved, I think Moss would obviously eat, but we don't have that kind of line. In terms of the Colts aren't as good as they used to be, obviously, but yeah, I just think that JT, with how much they paid him, they're gonna have to give him more touches. I think he'll end up being the lead back at some point. I just think it'll be whenever Moss's like little hot hand here ends up running out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Zach Moss, surprisingly enough, third in rush yards in the entire league. And can you guys guess who was ahead of him at running back who just went down? Evan Achan for the Dolphins, coming in at second there behind McCaffrey. So big injury there. Yeah, Zach Moss, I like him in this offense. I think it could be more of a dual threat running backfield here. Obviously JT will get the bulk of the touches moving forward, I think, but I do think Moss will be serviceable. I think they'll look to the run game a lot, and yeah, I think he can be a good flex option in fantasy as well. And one other
So
thing I want,
are you starting either of those guys in your fantasy leagues? Or are
I
those
would
two
start
guys
Zach Moss for sure. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess I might get flamed for this, but right now I probably have JT maybe on the bench one more week. He just had 4 points in his last game. Like, is he going to be on a snap count still moving forward or what? I don't know. I would maybe stash him on your bench one more week and then start him. See how he does this week. But I would start Moss as an RB2 or a flex, no matter like, all day.
Yeah. So it's kind. I feel like it's tough for us to talk about some fantasy pickups as well because we are competing in a league, in some
True.
leagues. So
We just gotta do it. You gotta bite the bullet and talk about it. I feel like. But
yeah, I mean, I'll throw one out there. Khalif Raymond, or is that how you say it? Yeah, Khalif
yeah,
Raymond from the Lions. We talked about him on around St. Brown. This guy took the second most targets among the receivers last year. Last game. So I think he's on a lot of waiver wires. I think you guys go pick him up. I think that other guy that just came off from betting has been disappointing so far. He hasn't done anything, right? Um, what is his name? I'm
who
having a
are you?
brain fart here. The guy that got suspended they just brought him
Jameson
back.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay, yep,
Has been disappointing. So this was his second week back, right?
yes.
Yeah, I mean he's getting like no targets, I believe, correct? Am I wrong? I don't think he's getting many. So,
Yeah, I don't even think with Amon-Ra out, I don't see how many targets he had.
but yeah, so that is my
Yeah, I
thoughts.
forgot
It definitely
Amon-Ra
wasn't the
was out.
uptick
That
in
is something
usage
to
that
monitor.
it wasn't the uptick in usage that you were going to expect from Jameson
Right.
Williams with Amon-Ra being out.
What was it? We know or
Yeah,
no?
no, he only had 3 targets in the game. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
just not what you'd expect with Amon-Ra being out,
Yeah,
in
he's
my
dealing with
opinion.
injuries all the time too. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him really. Williams. I do have one guy circling back to the Colts. He's not getting a lot of traction, and I think he could really be serviceable as a flex option. And that guy is Josh Downs, the rookie out of North Carolina. Especially, I want to point out with Minshew being in the fold, he's gotten a much more uptick in production as opposed to when Anthony Richardson was playing. He saw 3 targets with Richardson on average, and with Minshew, he's got like he's getting like 8 targets, 8 catches a game against. Let's see here, couple stats to bring up. Against the Texans, he had when Minshew played, he had 4 receptions, 37 yards, not great, right? And then we played against the Colts. He had 8 receptions, 57 yards with Minshew. Against the Rams, he had Richardson played that one. Sorry. And then against the Titans, just this past week, he had 6 receptions for 97 yards. So, I mean, that's getting you 12 to 15 points in your flex. I really see a difference when Minshew's out there with Josh Downs as opposed to when AR's just kind of running around, not looking at his receivers as much. I would target Josh Downs. He's out there in a lot of leagues. If you need a flex guy and you're hurting a little bit, even just a bench stash, go pick him up. I'm pretty big on him as long as Minshew is in the fold moving forward.
yeah, yeah, that is a good pickup. Or I mean, he should be on the rosters, right? I mean, you move him from the bench to the starters, or is he on free agents?
Let me see real quick. Look it up real quick.
But Nate, you got any
The big
pickups?
question mark what you're getting from Minshew. You know, it's like, what are you going to get from Minshew in Indianapolis? We said he's very serviceable, but, you
And with
know,
JT coming
how much?
back,
Yeah, surprisingly trust Minshew.
but I mean, I think you expect to get JT to get 20 touches.
That's the
Moss,
thing with the 2 running backs there.
right,
Are they just going to pound the ball 30, 35
right,
times a game? I mean,
yes,
maybe if game script doesn't go that way, they obviously can't. But if they can, you know, control the clock, why not?
right.
Uh, yeah, so he's rostered in only 2.1% of leagues. So I mean, he's out there.
Yeah, and
You guys need someone, go get him. Led the Colts in receptions and yards last week.
Oh, obviously the Arizona backup with Connor getting hurt. What's his name?
oh yes, I
Literally bid on him.
they have
Ingram or no?
Demercado. Sorry, Demercado.
yeah, don't Tony Jones, did he get traded there? They got Tony Jones, I believe, from what I'm looking at. Or they claimed him off waivers from the Saints. So Tony Jones is there as well, who was with the Saints in that committee. So just throw that heads up. But now, I mean, I think we jump right into the Thursday game from here. We have Broncos Chiefs. The spread is 10.5. The over under is 48. I'll start off here by saying I think the Chiefs are gonna slam this team. This Broncos team is really, 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 really bad. I hate double-digit spreads. I always say take the double-digit spread and the under on the game. But I think this is a game where the Chiefs might just beat them like 31-10 and just like annihilate them. I mean, this Broncos team is really bad, as I stated. Someone want to just pick up off of that?
Yeah, I don't have too much of a feel on the spread of this game. I kind of like the total earlier when it was a little bit higher. It got bet down a lot. I think that's just more of a Broncos fade in their offense rather than a KC buy of their offense, especially with their news. Yeah, I'm staying away from this game personally, but big numbers in the NFL. Good luck covering. And, of course, I have 2 big favorites this week, so can't really buy that. But
Yeah, I mean, I would if I'm betting this game, I'm going the Chiefs. I typically don't like betting double-digit spreads in the NFL either, but I would be fine laying the points here with the Chiefs. I just think the Broncos are that bad. And Thursday rolls around, I don't have a play on an NFL game. Starting to get close to 8 o'clock, I all of a sudden have a play. So I'll probably end up laying the Chiefs closer to game time, but we'll see. if I'm betting this game, it's the Chiefs and that's it. Can't touch the Broncos at all this season. Oh yeah, also one more play on this game actually. Double-digit spreads total seems to go under a lot of the time with those. Kind of a good team beating up on a bad team. The good team maybe scores 30. Bad team 6, 7, maybe 14. I think this total goes under 48. But yeah, that's it for that game.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a whole bunch on this either, but man, how bad are the Broncos? I mean, dude,
They're the worst team in the
they're
league. They're
just
bottom
bad,
3.
like
I mean, who's
bad
worse? Who's worse between the Broncos, Giants, and Panthers?
in Pittsburgh.
Awesome. I think it's the Broncos personally. Pittsburgh is 3-2. I mean, they're not as bad as those teams.
That Giants team's brutal. The Giants' offensive line allowing like 7 sacks, and their D line
And
doing
they just
absolutely
can't
nothing
move the
wrong.
ball either. Daniel Jones got paid and he's robbing them. It's highway robbery. 160 million to go out there and do that. I mean, I should be in the NFL if that's the case.
I mean, if you're a Giants fan, you were for sure turning the other way right now. I mean, the team is just horrid. Yeah, they're bad. Going down the list of the DraftKings board, we have the Ravens and the Titans. 9:30 a.m. This one is in the London game, I believe, correct? London, could be Germany maybe, but I believe it's London. But Ravens minus 4.5. Over under is 40.5. It's a low total. What are we thinking here, Nate? Give us your initial thoughts.
I think Baltimore's front 7 is really, really good at stopping the run. They absolutely stuffed Pittsburgh, in my opinion. Especially both their tackles, just absolutely shutting blocks, getting tackles for losses, just creating havoc like that. I like Baltimore here. I laid the minus 180 right on the money line straight up. Not sure what we're gonna get from Lamar with all these drops. Hopefully, his receivers regress to the mean a little bit in terms of drops. But yeah, I think Baltimore's just clearly the better team here. I don't think they're gonna dominate offensively, but I think there is gonna be some regression there. Not big on the Tennessee defense either. Tannehill's been all over the place this year. I mean, you could get God knows what you could get here. Very high variance game, but I laid the minus 180 with Baltimore, just being that they can stuff the run, and I think they're gonna hold Henry and force Tannehill to throw.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I don't really see anything I like super like at the moment. However, I am leaning towards Baltimore. I do think that they probably win this game, but I think it could be weird or close. I mean, like I said, Lamar turns the ball over a little bit. He scares me like that. I mean, I think Ravens up double digits. Lamar turns it over late. They go and score. Titans make it a close game, and it gets gross at 4.5. But
Ooh, this is a London game too.
yes.
Sunday at 9:30.
Both teams are flying over this week, though. There's no
Yeah, right.
No weird stuff.
Yep.
50-50. But yeah, for this game here, weirdly enough, I'm gonna fade the Ravens again this week. I like the Titans in this spot. They seem to play well, lay an egg, play well, lay an egg, play well, lay an egg. And that pattern says they just laid an egg last week, 16 points, lost to the Colts with Minshew coming
Division
in as
game.
the backup mid game there through a division game. And they were on the road, but now they're technically at home. But in London, I think they get the run game going. Ravens D is good against the run, I feel like, but I think it'll just be a close, scrappy game. I think Baltimore probably pulls out the win, maybe a game-winning kick or something, but I think Titans cover the 4.5 points. I'll probably be betting this game. Yeah, I like the Titans plus 4.5 for sure. I think the pattern says they bounce back and have a big game, so we'll see if they live up to that. I think they do just enough to cover here.
Yeah, I will just say too, man, this Titans team though, they do just seem sometimes to hang around. They're always in games. You never know. Like, I'm starting to think I'm thinking I really like the over Derrick Henry. It's like 63 yards or something. I mean, when in doubt, London game, you go to your bread and butter. You hand the ball off a lot. Maybe look for Derrick Henry to get going. That kind of does go against what Nate said though, with Ravens having a really good front 7. Maybe Ravens look to eat up that run. So That is a prop that I kind of do like, but actually now I'm thinking about it, we'll probably stay away. Cal, what do we got for the next game?
We have interesting game here. We got the Niners minus 5.5 on their high horse off a 42-10 win against the Cowboys at home, going on the road to Cleveland. Cleveland getting 5.5 at home. I mean, as I just praised the Niners earlier in the pod against the Dallas, I'm gonna flip and I'm gonna go Cleveland at home here. I think Deshaun Watson can come back, have a decent day. Do we know if Amari Cooper's back or what? I'm not really sure. The total on this game is 37.5, but either
Amari
way, if
Cooper will be playing.
playing, okay,
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, I like it even more now. I think it opened what, 5? Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it opened 5, maybe
Four
four
and
and
a
a half.
half. Most
4.5. It's
places.
up to
Yeah.
5.5, which is weird, but I would take this. I hope it goes to 6, because either I'm taking the Browns no matter what here, so I'll take the best number I can get. Um, yeah, if I see 6, I'm locking it in as soon as I see that. But if not, I'll wait. Yeah, I just like the Browns. Niners coming off a high horse. The Niners will win this game. There'll be no money line dog for me. The spread, and that's it. Well, I think the Browns can do just enough, just like the Titans. I think the Titans will do just enough to cover the Ravens. I think Cleveland keeps this within 6. There's blowout potential for sure on the Niners side, as they're a juggernaut, but I'm gonna take a gamble and play the Browns here.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I like the Browns here. I mean, it's one of those class. I mean, Deshaun Watson they're coming off their bye week. They had 2 weeks to prepare for this Niners team, and I will say, Niners, you are coming off a high. That Cowboys game you expected so far to be the hardest game of the year. They probably practiced super hard, and now I mean it's just those classic letdown spots. Same thing with Buffalo. We went in, we pummeled the good Miami team, went over, played Jacksonville in a letdown spot. So I think you see that here. I think the Browns defense is good enough to keep this one close, give Purdy and them boys some issues. However, the one thing that does scare me is that I do see Niners blowout potential. I see this game either goes one or two ways. The Niners either blow them out, or I think the Niners probably win a close one. But I'm gonna be on. I like the Browns +3 or +5.5. Like I said, I'm not fully sold on that Niners team, and I will take the over 37. I think that total is grossly low, and it screams low. Great defense, not a lot of points.
It is low,
But I
really
mean,
low.
37.5. I have to take it. I see like a 27-20 maybe game, or even a 27-17 game. So I don't think we're gonna get a 10-3 or a 17-10 type of game. I don't think so.
Oh,
By the
17
way,
10 who? Niners?
I don't know.
Maybe say 17-13, cover that Browns.
Right? Yes. Right.
But
Add that
I
over to
think the
my best
matchup.
bets, by the way.
the over, I thought you said under.
No, the over 37.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I,
whenever
I
it's. Go ahead.
I think the biggest part of this game is going to be Cleveland's line against San Francisco's D line. I think it's a huge matchup for Cleveland, a big test for Cleveland, to get their run game going and let Watson, get through his progressions down the field and stuff. I think if they can protect him well enough and establish the run game, I think they really do have a good chance. I just saw DraftKings flash to -250. I like their -225 just straight up on San Francisco. Most of the market around like 260, 270. There were some sixes out at BetMGM and PointsBet, Kyle, if you do want to take a stab at +6. But I think you can wait till later in the week and find even 6.5 maybe if they end up pushing it and Publix pushes it. Publix been great this year in the NFL in terms of getting a bunch of tickets. So I think it's a spot where if they push the number to 6.5, you could, or even 7. I mean, you could. I would 100% be on the Browns buying that back with such a low total.
True. Good point. Yeah, I don't think even if you're laying juice, I don't think Niners money line is ever a bad play. They seem to win every game. They don't
And a
seem to
cutout,
be losing
yes.
anytime soon. I don't mind Niners money line at all. I don't like laying a ton of juice, but even maybe a parlay piece. I think they're safe. But yeah, I'll stick to the Brown spread for now. With these low totals, I've taken a few. Maybe it's just college football. The Michigan last 2 weeks Last 2 games, their totals are like 38 or so, and they score that themselves, or if not more, and then hold the team to like 0 to 10 points. But I don't know if that'll be a recurring theme here in the NFL with this low total. But I want to take a sharp under on these all the time, and I do it, and it's just too low, and the overs end up hitting. So that's why I'm staying off that total, or else I would be on the under. But what do you guys think about the low totals? You think they go over more or under usually?
I mean, I probably think they usually probably tread under. I mean, Vegas knows what they're doing by giving that low line. But I do say though, I think these teams maybe both their defense can maybe create turnovers, and then you can get some short fields there that will lead to points.
Right, that's what's
Um,
happening at least at the college
so
level.
I think that is a big possibility here.
I think it's
Or
tough to compare college and the NFL in
Yeah,
general. There's just too many
absolutely,
differences. But
I mean,
I
absolutely.
mean, the total opened at 41.5 and got bet down by 4 points. So definitely people betting this under down, just sharp people in general. I do think it's a spot where you can come buy back this over. Definitely just with the havoc potential of San Francisco's defense. But I think the game just plays out for a very grinded out. I don't think Cleveland wants to go have 15 possessions in this game. I think they want to have 7 or 8 and control the ball.
Yeah, Nate. By the way, if you have what all these games opened at, shout those out when it's your turn to go. Like to hear what they opened at. I don't have it pulled up right now, so but anyway, should we move on to the next game?
let's do it.
We got Carolina big spread here, plus 13.5 against the Dolphins. Anyone want to kick us off?
I don't give a bollocks about this game. However, I mean, give me Carolina and the points. They're 0-5 and 0-4 against the spread. They've yet to cover a spread this year.
Got to at some point, right?
I mean, screams backdoor cover. I will say though, man, Bryce Young cannot move the ball. Like, as much as I say backdoor cover, like I could easily see like a 31-3 just spanking. Um, that Miami offense is electric. I do not have a play on this game. It's just gross.
Yeah, losing a Chan is interesting though.
I will say I
Um,
like the under though.
that explosiveness.
I like the under blowout potential under. I mean, the Panthers might not score.
Yeah, 48.5. Like I said earlier, with the high spreads tend to go under. I feel like I'll probably stay off a total here. If I'm gonna bet this, just going off of what you said, Panthers 0-4 ATS or whatever, 0-5, you gotta cover at some point. I think they're dead to me right now, so I don't know if I'll bet them, but I would take the Panthers in this spot. It's just too many points to me. NFL game. I'd probably buy it to 14. I don't care what the juice is. I'll just take the 14. Miami's that much better.
Yeah, I've enjoyed Miami in the spot just because I can't find a reason to back this Carolina
Yeah,
team. I
they're
just can't.
bad.
Miami's explosiveness against this Carolina defense will get all over them. I mean, it'll be that if we compare to NFL to college, it'll be that college style domination. I think, in my opinion, they allowed 42 to the Detroit team without Amon Ra. I mean, they were bad back there. So I think Miami's gonna explode all over them. I think defensively Miami will end up doing enough. I think it'll be a high scoring affair. I think Bryce Young will, in terms of game flow, will just have to throw the ball a bunch more. But I do kind of lean over. But my one play I do have here is I laid Miami with the 13 points, minus 13 earlier in the week.
Yeah. Do you like 13.5? I'll go slap the tail on. You like the hook? It's okay.
Yeah, I think it's still bettable at 13.5 for sure. I definitely stay away at 14, and then 14.5, I start leaning more Carolina, definitely.
Numbers guy. Big numbers guy, huh?
Hey
Nate,
man,
just
I
sounds
cashed
like
that
Nate
Michigan over.
loves the Dolphins. I don't mind. I mean, I can't back the Panthers either, really. Got to check out my dead list and see if they're sitting
As
there.
well,
Oh,
do we got to get on a squad ride? Probably us three. We'll post a little
Yeah, at
squad
some
ride
point.
going.
Did Nate say the nine? Yeah, he said Niners money line. Okay, so it can't be that game.
Gonna tweet out my picks here too for tonight. Yeah, I don't have much thoughts on that. Who did the Dolphins just beat up on the Giants? I mean, the really horrible
Yeah,
Giants.
31-13.
Yeah.
Giants almost covered. They had a chance at the end, and I don't know what
I
happened.
mean, I will say that
Turn it
us
over.
beating them up is a huge thing for the Bills. I will say that. That's a huge statement win by being able to beat that team. We're not down and out. Kel, want to kick us off with the next one on the slate?
Yeah, we got Minnesota traveling to the Bears. Minnesota minus 2.5. I think this opened 3. I think. It's got down to 2.5. And give me the Bears in this spot at plus 2.5. Actually, one of my favorite plays of the week. Interestingly enough, this is another team where I just simply say I can't back, but I mean, they showed signs of life like last week, so they're coming around on me a little bit. If they can keep this momentum going, I mean, I would take the Bears in this spot, and it's more of a Minnesota's kind of in shambles bet for me too, because you got Jefferson out 4 weeks now, hamstring, he's on IR. You got the rookie Addison needing to step up into the #1 role. You got Cousins contract issues coming up at the end of the season. Jefferson, they got to pay him. Like, I don't know, this team just seems like bad vibes in the locker room. Coaching all around, they're 1-4. That they're just not winning games. Now they're on a road against a divisional opponent who people thought the Bears were going to be better than they have started. I mean, both of these teams are bad, but I'm willing to back the Bears at plus 2.5. I would take them to the money line in this spot. Home divisional game. Give me the dog here all day. I think Fields maybe gets it together. They might have a little something going, and I think they can beat a 1-4 Vikings team all day long.
Nate, go ahead. What are
It's
we
interesting.
seeing?
I loved that Chicago Bears spot. It opened 4 most places, and I really wish I would
Wow.
have jumped in at 3.5, 4, just getting the field goal there. I think it's tough to lay the 2.5. You're kind of talking me into the money line though. Do you think it's a good spot for Chicago bouncing back? Obviously playing a very bad team last week, but scoring 40 points. I mean, Fields at least figured it out somewhat against a bad team, and this Minnesota defense is not as good as it used to be. But I think it is a decent spot for Chicago. I leaned under just because of Minnesota losing Jefferson. I have under 46. I think it's down to 45 now. I think 45 still bettable. 45 obviously being a very key number in the NFL. Um, I think it's just again fading Minnesota. No Jefferson there. Don't think that offense is gonna produce as much. Defenses are bad. I'm not big on Chicago's defense either, but I don't think they'll be able to do much against Chicago's defense just without Jefferson. And you have to have so many eyes on that man when he's on the field. It just opens up everything else, and I think they just will be so limited offensively.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys here. I like the Bears as well. I'm not super sold on them though. They're not. I don't think like, oh my gosh, this is a gimme play. But I do like the Bears to get rolling. The offense did look good last week. They played Thursday night, long rest, extra time to prepare. Um, so I like the Bears here
Yeah, I'm gonna
as
mark the
well.
Bears down and pick them actually right now. It's one of mine that were up in the air. I'm gonna go take them. Yeah, I'd probably take the spread, but I mean,
I did take
I
Minnesota
gotta
in my
get the money
pick'em
line.
though.
I'm on the Bears. That was one of mine that I left open. Oh, going Bears. All right, so we got Indianapolis +4 taking on Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Um, no, this game is not in London. At this point, you would think that this team should be the London Jacksonville Jaguars or the London Jaguars, but no, they play in Jacksonville. They're going back home now. -4. What do we think? Jags
Um,
-4.
I'll kick us off. I don't have a big play on this. I do again see another letdown spot here for the Jags. Or not another letdown like for the Jags, but like another letdown spot as I talked about in the Niners game. Jags coming off a huge win against Buffalo that they maybe didn't come into the game really expecting to win. However, I will say this is a rematch from week 1 where the Jags won by 10 points. I think that score was a little misleading though. Jags got a late touchdown to cover the spread. Um, I will also say that Trevor Lawrence led Jaguars are 0-5 against the spread when laying 4 more points. If you're a big stats guy, that's one that I would look into. I think it's a difficult spot for the team after spending 2 weeks in London. Jacksonville's coming off a historic win for them against Buffalo. I mean, they never expect to win that game, but I just think that it's a letdown spot for them. And Gardner Minshew can get going, keep this one close. Field goal game, division game. I'll take the Colts here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Audio. This is actually my favorite spot of the week, favorite bet of the week. I'll be on Indy +4, and that stat you said about Lawrence being what 0-4 ATS laying
He is
4 or more
0-5
points.
against the spread lane.
0-5. I mean, I love
Yes,
this
lane
even
4 or
more
5.
now. I believe in Minshew Magic, man. I think he's gonna really get Josh Downs going this week. I would take Josh Downs anytime touchdown over yards. That's my prop for the week. My big bet for the week is Indy +4. I would play this to the money line. I'm actually gonna take the money line in this game. I'll probably find a boost or something closer to Sunday here. Look to get Colts around +200. I'll take whatever the max on that is, and then yeah, I'll be doubled up on the spread and money line here. I think Minshew is definitely serviceable enough to get this team some wins as he's shown. I think he's what 2-0 when coming in for Richardson this year already. Maybe I'm wrong, but I like Minshew. I mean, I think he could start on a bad team like the Panthers. I think he could go start on that team really with Bryce Young sitting under him if it were up to me. But yeah, I think Minshew's definitely serviceable, and I think they win this game. Jags flying home from London off of their biggest win of the year, where they finally looked good in a game. It's again kind of what I thought about the Jags, how they might beat the Bills in that spot in London. I think it's the same way with this Indy here. The Jags are coming off their high horse, going back home. Maybe jet lagged a little bit. Indy's preparing, ready to go in this divisional game. I think Indy gets it done on the road. Uh, yeah. So
It's interesting Jacksonville being a little bit hungover coming home from Europe, obviously, and just hoping that would happen. I really think Jacksonville's front seven is going to establish this game, regardless of if Indianapolis can get the run going, I think Indianapolis can really come in and beat them up bad. I think it's a high variance game where if Lawrence has to get into a track meet with Minshew, I think honestly Minshew has a little bit of the advantage. It's kind of weird to say. I like Indianapolis. I don't know if I can back Minshew in this spot. I think the Jags are a little bit hungover. I do like that you guys lay in the 4.5 there. Just getting over a field goal in general, but I think if this Jacksonville front seven can really press early and establish their dominance, it really forces Minshew to have to chop the ball left and right, and I think it could just be a bad situation in general. But I do like your guys' reasoning. I don't have a play though.
what do you think about the over then, Nate, with all that you just said? Over 45.5?
If it ties up for it correctly, yeah, I think this is a spot where if Jacksonville ends up, dominating the first 2-3 possessions when the Colts have the ball, I think it's a good live under spot just because. Or I'm sorry, if they end up stopping them a bunch of Jacksonville gets up early, good live over spot just because Colts are gonna have to throw.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I do see a track meet in this one. Less defense, more points. Close game, yeah. Oh yeah. Divisional game though, but it'll be a good one. My favorite spot of the week for sure. Should we move? We got Seattle +3 at Cincy. Cincy -3. One of you guys can kick us off here. Total 45.5 right now.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll kick us off. Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to lean Seattle +3. I'm just not exactly sure if the Bengals are back yet. The offense did seem to get going against Arizona, but however, it is Arizona. So, I mean, yes, they've been competitive this year, but the defense have been awful. The Giants hung 31 on them. That just says it. I think Joe Burrow's still injured, and I don't know if that they're gonna be able to get through on a good Seahawks team coming off a bye, rested, who slings the ball around and scores points. The Bengals defense is literally ranked 30th. I believe the Seahawks' offense ranks first in yards per rush attempt. So I think Seattle establishes the ground game, which then again is going to open up their pass lanes to overall cover the 3 points. And I don't think the Bengals will be able to win by more than a field goal. I love Seattle actually. I'm gonna add that to one of my best bets. Give me the Seahawks to hammer this depleted Bengals team. Sprinkle the money line.
Yeah, Audio, I think you just sold me on this one. I was up in the airs. I kind of like what you said. Seattle's a dog. I'm not sold on Cincy either after one win against the Cardinals. Uh, Weirdly short spread for the Bengals last week, by the way. But Bengals took care of business on the road. But yeah, here I think I'm not sold on them. I would take Seattle. I'll keep this one short. I don't know if I'll bet it, but I lean Seattle +3 here.
W sell job.
Yep.
I bought into this Bengals team a little bit after the win.
Wow.
He's not 100%, I agree, but I can buy into them enough for an over on this game. It's between 45.5, 44.5. I see some 44.5 at FanDuel. I like to bet that up. Just think the Seattle defense isn't as good, and I think this Bengals team has figured it out enough, and Burrow's figured it out to where they're going to be explosive and have enough offensive drives. Not as big on the Bengals defense with losing both of their secondary players. Seattle going to have a chance to be explosive with Geno. I think there's just a lot of points to be had in this game. I like the over 44.5.
Yeah, I'll add that to my card right now.
I
Throwing the
also
tail
like the
there.
over in this game as well. No defense. Burrow he did look better last week. One thing I will say, he looked a lot more mobile in that game last week than he did every week before that. He's actually moving in and out of the pocket, scrambling, making deep throws on the run. I mean, his calf could be kind of loosening up now, but we'll see how he looks this week against a better opponent. So in next game here, we got the Saints
Hold on, wait,
taking
wait.
on.
Oh, sorry, go
Okay.
ahead. I mean, I think that teasing Seattle up to +9 might be one of my teaser picks for this week. I gotta think about that yet, but
I got mine set and ready. So thinking about yours, and then we'll go over them at the end maybe. But we got Saints Texans. Saints -1.5 at the Texans. Nate, if you want to let me know what this opened at. Um,
opened at
Looks like
two
Rose
minus two and
open
a
two and
half.
a half. Two and a
two and a
half
half because
most
I saw it
places.
bounce down to. I mean, I have it at 1. I don't know. I actually this was a mistake. I took this game thinking it was last week's game against the Falcons, and for whatever reason, I checked my account and I have Texans +1.5 against the Saints. I like this bet anyway, so I'm sticking with it. Actually, I have them +1, shit number, but I'm gonna have to stick with it now. I hope they win. I think they can win anyways. This is the team I got my future on to win the division, so I need them to win. I'm gonna just keep riding them, I guess. Live with it. Live with the fake bet. But I like this play anyways. Texans at home. Stroud gets it back together, throws for a few touchdowns. I think they can beat the Saints. But one thing I will say is the Saints do have a good defense. So that could be interesting. And I could also see this being Stroud's first game where he really looks like a rookie quarterback. But until he shows me otherwise, I'll keep backing him.
Hey, what do you got for us on this?
Not too much on the game. I saw it open around 40, 41 for the total. This New Orleans defense is really, really good. Well, not as good. You have to put an asterisk on them because they played New England. New England's terrible. We all know that. So, no real feel on the total or spread on this game. I think if that number does get to 3, I would lay Houston. I think it is a little bit too much. I believe in Stroud and what he's done over there. Defensively, they're just not good. But New Orleans isn't good offensively either. But New Orleans may have their way of running the ball. It just kind of depends for me. I don't really have a feel.
Yeah, I agree with you too. I don't really have a feel on this game either. I mean, I think it could go either way.
That's why. 'Cause I fucking
My leans are more is probably towards the Texans. Just I look at the two QBs. I think Stroud is a better QB than Derek Carr. He has yet to throw an interception this year. Oh no, wait, he did throw one. Did he throw one? I believe this last game.
Ooh,
I believe he did. C.J. Stroud threw his first pick of the
I
year.
don't know. Did he?
Think he
I don't,
did. Um,
I don't remember him
let me go
throwing a
double
pick.
check. Let me go double check. Just to could be wrong, but I thought he did
it's
throw
not
one.
throwing a
Oh,
pick
he did
yet.
not throw one. So he's still yet to throw a pick. I mean, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you're not turning the ball over. You're gonna do well. Found interesting they gave Damian Pierce 20 carries against the Falcons. You would think with C.J. Stroud they'd air it out a little more. I mean, whoa, how did they lose this game? You're telling me? Think about this. Damian Pierce had 20 carries. C.J. Stroud was 20 for 35.
I'll
How
tell you
many
how.
offensive snaps did they get? How many possessions did they have? You're gonna tell me they lost
I'll
that game looking after that?
Yes, I'll tell you how it was because Desmond Ritter actually looked like an NFL quarterback this week. He threw for 329 and 28 of 37. That's something we have not seen out of Ritter all year. He did enough to get it done, and I was impressed by him. I still don't like him at all, but I mean, hey, he got it done. I'll give him a little bit of credit. They were able to kick a game-winning field goal by Koo. Who I'll give some credit to for kicking that. Also, I think Tank Dell is hurt. 2 carries for -4 yards. That is bad out of him. 3 for 57. But yeah, the receivers didn't get going too much. Also, though, Stroud just kind of spreads the ball around everywhere. Tank Dell 3 for 57. Nico Collins 3 for 39. Woods 3 for 30. Schultz 765 and a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, credit to Ritter for getting this one done, I guess. Ugh, yeah. Oh yeah. Also, guys, who would you take and pick them for this game? Texans or Saints? I'm up in the air here. I went Texans, but want to know your guys'
I went
thoughts.
New Orleans for Pick'em.
You had to go to the grave. Who are you taking?
I took New Orleans for Pick'em. Weird pick.
Probably New Orleans in my confidence pool, I would think.
Yeah, there. All right. Um, next game I actually got the Falcons -2.5 taking on the Commanders. This line jumps out at me. I mean, shouldn't the I don't know if this opened at, but shouldn't the Falcons be favored by a little bit more? I would think, which makes me lean Commanders, but my football brain tells me Falcons at home -2.5. Maybe a money line parlay piece. I don't know. I don't have too much on this game, so I'll keep it short. I like the Falcons. I like them to get their run game going. Bijan, I think, could have a big day and a touchdown. Also, be aware Van Jefferson just got traded to the Falcons from the Rams. That was my other waiver wire pickup that I forgot to talk about. So maybe take a stab at him if you guys need him in deeper leagues, the bench stash, or a flex if you really need him in a flex position this week with some bias. But yeah, I'm gonna go Falcons -2.5. I guess I'm not willing to go to the grave with it though.
Yeah, I also do like the Falcons. I believe that they go and win the game. I'm not going to say too much about this. I think they win by 5 plus. But I do like the over 42.5. I see this game like 27-21. I'm going to take the over 42. Nate, what are we thinking?
Nate's like, fuck this game.
Sorry, I'm lagging.
Yeah.
Sorry, 40. Yeah, I don't have really any feel on this game, honestly. It opened around 1.5, 1. Definitely would have bet Atlanta at that point, but 2.5, just a little bit too much. I'm kind of worried about this Washington defense, for stopping this Atlanta run. Not sure how the game flow could go. I just don't really trust Howell to score points here in the late game. Kind of leaned under, but not too no big plays in the game. Not at all on this one.
Yeah, I probably will stay off as well.
Game sucks.
Yeah, pick 'em. I'm going Falcons. But
Pick 'em. I am going Atlanta as well, I believe.
another interesting one. We got the shitty New England Patriots taking on the shitty Raiders on the road. Give me the shitty Raiders in this spot. I faded them last night with GB, and that was a shit show. Jordan Love is do they have a bye this week? I want to talk a little bit about them. I don't believe in
They are
Jordan
on a
Love.
bye.
He's a shit show. That team's looking like a shit show. 2 weeks in a row, I've backed them now. They got piss pounded by the Lions and made a slight comeback, made the score look better than it was. And then last night they just lost to the shitty Raiders. So I can't back that team moving forward. I had them to my dead list, and I don't believe in Jordan Love anymore officially.
Yeah.
But to circle back to this game, yeah, Raiders -3. I'm never backing New England off a 34-0 shutout to the Saints. It's unacceptable. They have QB problems. It looks like Belichick doesn't even know if he wants to start Mac. I certainly wouldn't start Mac. It would be Zappy season for me this point forward. When Zappy did play last year, he looked pretty solid to me. I would give him another chance. If Zappy plays, I may. Nah, I'm not flipping. I'm going Raiders either way, but I would like to see Zappy get his chance here again. You just can't get shut out to the Saints, even though their D is good. You just can't let that happen.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
I don't really have a play on this game, and I don't want to talk about the Packers. I'm still puking after my same game parlay miss last night.
Yeah,
Just an
that was a
absolute brutal one for me. But yeah, I mean the Packers stink. Jordan Love can't throw the ball. I mean I just don't know what's going on with him. He's just bad. I will credit the Raiders. I mean they find ways to win games. They won the game last night. Jacoby Myers looked good. Obi Wonka Jacoby,
He
whatever
is
you want to
good.
call him. Had the first TD.
Nice cash for
Really-
you audio that I called out.
Yep, it's great.
But yeah, good
Great
stuff
pick.
there.
But yeah, I like the Raiders here -3 to beat up the Patriots. I'm almost tempted to lean like Raiders minus 20 alternate spread here, and the Patriots just getting blown out again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk much about this game though. I could care less about it.
Same here.
Yeah, I don't think you can doubt Belichick here though in a spot like this, just coming off getting his shit pounded in.
Twice, by the
I think it
way.
could be a game plan type thing, but the Patriots are really really bad. I just don't trust the Raiders laying a field goal here. I'd love it under 2.5, but I just can't lay 3 here.
Yeah, I
Just
just
being
don't
in,
trust either of these teams. I don't know.
you can't. Yeah.
Uh, I'll probably stay off this one. All right, so we got Philly taking on the Jets. Philly's -7. They keep laying points, and it seems to keep growing each week at the Jets. One of you guys want to start us off here?
Yeah, this Philly team is very good. They just went and um, they beat up on, why can't I think right now? The Rams. Good win. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua did look good. Philly was just too much to handle. Um, I just don't think the Jets are good enough to stay here. They struggle to score points. However, Zach Wilson has been playing better football. Part of me thinks so with this big spread that, I mean, could be a letdown spot for Philly here. They're undefeated. They're looking at the Jets. Maybe the Jets defense plays really well, slows down the Eagles. Maybe the Jets keep this one close. So I'm going to flip my pick. I think I'm going to lean the Jets here. Jets +7. I think the defense keeps it close. Zach Wilson's been playing good. I've been on this hype train since BYU, and I think he will be able to, like I said, keep this game close.
Yeah, I agree with you, Audio. Just flipped. I personally just like the Jets, just off of the same reasons you said. Zach Wilson's. I never thought I'd say this. He's actually looking better. I'm not gonna say he's looking like an NFL QB yet, because I don't think he's there yet, but he's looking better the last 2 weeks. If he keeps improving, I do think the supporting cast around him with the defense, the solid defense, you can get Garrett Wilson going. Brees Hall got going last week with 171, 8 rush yards. Shout out to Brees Hall. I think he's back. He's not on a snap count anymore, so I think it's his backfield to lose. With Delvin Cook not really being much in the fold there as of right now, and slow, and when he gets the ball, looking old and slow. I don't know what happened to him coming off of a 1,000-yard season, but not looking good. It looks like Brees's backfield. I think their supporting cast is good enough against a Philly team that hasn't looked great, even though I did think they looked pretty good on the road last week against at the Rams. But I would take the 7 points at home and hold my breath throughout this game.
I think the Jets won't be able to do anything offensively, losing their left tackle. I think Philly will smother them in terms of just not being able to move the ball. But I think this Jets defense can stop Philly from moving the ball. Philly's offense has been good, but I don't think it's been like super super top tier so far. Jalen Hurts having to scramble and create a lot of it with his legs. I think the Jets can contain that. I think it really works out to being a low scoring affair. I lean under here. Definitely gonna add. So I saw some 42 at FanDuel. Definitely gonna add that. I think it's more of a buy high on Philly's offense, and also with the Jets losing their offensive lineman.
I love the take, yeah. I like that. I like what you said about the the Eagles offense not being super great despite Jalen Hurts using his legs a lot, and I will talk about that later when we do our top 5 teams.
Forgot about that.
Okay. So moving on, we got Detroit at TB. Detroit laying 3. Ooh, what an interesting game. Someone want to kick us off? I got to think about this one a little bit more. And I also want to know your guys' pick 'em picks on this one too. Tampa Bay's at home +3.
Yeah,
Ins-
yeah, go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
I laid Detroit -2.5 earlier in the week. Up to 3 now, looking more towards 3.5. Love the spot for Detroit. I know it's in Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay's D line definitely has overperformed compared to what we thought they would. But I think Detroit, if they get them on route back, will just dominate here in terms of offensively. I think they'll be able to move the ball well, regardless of that front seven, and just set themselves up well. I am bigger on Tampa Bay than most people were, but I think that the Detroit defense can do enough here. Love the spot, love it for Detroit. Love backing Detroit the rest of this year. Laid the 2.5 there earlier in the week.
Nate, big fan of Detroit, huh?
Um,
Hey, I don't mind it. They're looking good.
I agree with him. I think Detroit is a very good football team. Watch out for them come playoff time. Love what the coach has done with that team. Completely flipped around the team. I like Detroit here -2, and I'm also one who's. I mean, I'm not huge on Tampa Bay, but I do think they're better than a lot of people are, or than like a lot of people think that they are. They are coming off a bye, so maybe they'll be a little prepared for this game, as well as the Lions are coming off a bye. Correct? Or who did they play this past week?
No, they beat a team. They beat up on somebody. Panthers. They pissed
Oh
pounded.
yes, they did. Yes, you're right.
42-14, I think.
Yep. So I like Detroit here. Coach is good. Offense guns the ball. Defense is playing solid. Hutchinson's a beast. I got Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll ride with you guys on Detroit. I think the line's short, but maybe it's because Tampa Bay's at home and home field advantage points. I don't know. I feel like Detroit should be closer to 5 here, my opinion. But I mean, I like Detroit. I mean, I have no reason really not to. But Tampa's coming off a bye, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Akers looked better than expected, but I think this team will come back to earth, come back down to earth again. Detroit probably wins this game, I guess. Might stay off. I don't know. If I have a bet, I'm going Detroit. Uh, Pick 'em or next game here. Cardinals +7 at the Rams. Total 48.5 points.
Cardinals at the Rams. The Rams are laying 7, right? Correct?
Yes.
I mean, give me the Cardinals, man. They're spunky. They cover.
There's some tough games, I feel like.
I don't have much to say. However, the Rams' offense looks great with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp looked like he didn't miss a beat. That him and Stafford connection is very good. That just being said, I'm just purely taking on this because I think that Cardinals team is spunky. They find ways to stay in games and they have big plays, score touchdowns. So I'm going with the Cardinals. I also slight lean at the over here as well.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna fade that. I don't mind what you said, but Rams didn't cover this last week. Not that that matters too much, but I think they get right here. They're just coming off a loss at home to the Eagles. I think it's a get right spot for them. They're 2-3 divisional game. They need this one. I would take -7, but I actually think this game could push. I think they could win this game by just a touchdown, and that's it. But I'm gonna lean -7. I'm gonna say Rams win by 10, something like 30-20, 27-17. But I'm not surprised if this one finishes somewhere around 27-20. I got the Rams though. I think they do enough on the offensive end.
Yeah, it's tough to buy into this Cardinals defense. It's really tough to look at how they performed over the first 5 weeks and be like, yeah, I think they can do enough to stop Los Angeles. The Los Angeles line's really, really bad though. Arizona might do okay against it. I don't have a feel on this game at 7. I would have laid 6.5 with LA if I could have gotten it when it opened. It's 6.5 juice some places, but I don't like it when it's juiced. I think it's fine at 6.5, but West having nothing. I'm passing on the game. Total feels about right to at 48. I think it could turn to a track meet style again, but with how bad LA's line plays, I don't know.
Yeah, this might be a pass for me too. Lean Rams -7. Is this a bet for you, Eladio? +7 or not really?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, staying away.
okay. We don't have too much on that game.
Come out of that in 30 seconds. Wow.
What do you say?
Just
Talked audio out of
Oh.
+7 in like 30 seconds.
Giants at Bills. Giants +14. Big spread. -14. I'll kick us off. I mean, I'm not going to speak for all of us, but I would think I know where all of us are going to be on this game. I'm personally on the Bills -14. I think it's a get right spot. I think the Giants are super bad. I think the Bills are still pretty good enough to cover this game easily. I think the Bills win this by 21 plus. I would lay the alternate spread to that. To be honest, this feels like another Dolphin. Actually, I think we're gonna beat them more than what the Dolphins did to them. Dolphins won 31-16. I think we win this game like 42, 41, 14. I think it's an easy spot for Buffalo to get right here.
Yeah, I just went and put 2 units on this play. Probably will add more. Non-biased at all. I think the Bills are going to completely murder this really bad Giants team. Is Daniel Jones going to play? I know he's banged up, neck injury.
I
Probably
don't care if he's as healthy as he's ever been.
right. Probably is
Bills.
going to play. The Bills are home wagons. I mean, they play super well at home. I think they're going to murder this Giants team. I got an easy cover here for Buffalo, non-biased at all. It's a plain beatdown. They're the best football team in the league as well, and I will stand by that at 3-2.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, this is a good risk spot for Buffalo, 100%. I laid 13.5 on it open.
Wow,
The Giants are
winner.
just disastrous on both sides of the ball. The Bills are banged up defensively. Daniel Jones could get stuff going, but that Giants line is terrible. The Bills front four will have a field day against them, I think. Give me a couple of those guys to record a sack. There's some props out there.
I like
but,
that. That's sharp.
Yeah, I think this is 100% a get right spot for the Bills. I think Allen comes out and just dominates completely over this Giants defense. Yeah, give me the Bills minus 13.5. I have it. No fuel on the total. It's supposed to not be great outside, so covering this big number might be tough, but I laid 13.5.
Nice. Looks like a free winner. 13.5.
Squad ride?
No push worries there. So that's good.
Squad ride of that?
Yeah. I think this even maybe it stays at 14 at the football number. I would not be surprised if this gets higher. Public's got to be all over the Bills, but I don't care. I think the public eats here. Yeah, it could be a squad ride. Yeah, I'm down for that. A lot of our squad rides seem to be the Bills. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it's not bad.
Non-biased.
Yeah, not at all. Non-biased.
All right, let's move to the final game of the week.
We're a bunch of fucking homers.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I say here completely non-biased with my takes about the Bills. But
they win 50-0 this weekend, right, Audio?
42-13 or something.
All right, let's move on. Dallas -2 at the Chargers. You guys already know where I'm going. Game.
I'm on the same side as you.
I don't care if it's recency bias from last week. Give me the Chargers all day long. +2, but forget the points. I like the money line. I think Chargers get right here. They go to 3-2 coming off a bye. Dallas wants to get right, but what I saw to them last week, I will be a little careful because they were playing the juggernauts in the 49ers of the league. But I saw a fraudulent Cowboys team. I'm going to stick with that in my head. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to go the Chargers, and I'm looking to fade Dallas moving forward as well. Give me the Chargers +2. I'll take them to the money line. I'm taking them and pick them as well.
Yeah, I agree with you here. I do like Chargers. I did take them and pick them. However, I do think, again, this is another get-right spot for Dallas coming off a big loss. I still think they're a good team, but, I mean, I like the Chargers to keep this one close. Could come down to a game-winning field goal on either side. I like Herbert to sling the ball around, score some points. I'm giving the Chargers +2.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me, too. One more thing. You guys can maybe call me delusional, say what you think about this. But I am thinking about taking a Dallas to miss the playoffs future. Maybe it's a little delusional, but I'm still a little on the fence, but I'm thinking about it.
Do you see their division?
I don't even know the odds.
They play the Giants, and they got to play the Commanders twice.
My thing on this is,
that was the dumbest thing I've heard.
No, they look fraudulent to me, but they play a tough schedule. And they look fraudulent to me. They play a tough schedule. They got the Chargers this week, Rams next week, at the Eagles the following week, and you get right against the Giants, Panthers, Commanders. Okay, they win those games. And then you got the Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, Dolphins, Lions, and Commanders time of the year. I mean,
I hate to be that guy, but I think what you just said is going to make me switch my pick here to the Cowboys to win.
We can clip this, whatever. I think this team could finish. I went through their schedule earlier. I think they could finish 9-8. On the outside. The only thing is, though, which you can call me dumb now because I am thinking about it, the Commanders and Giants are in no contention to compete with Dallas in this division. So either way, Dallas will be top 2 in the division and probably sneak in. But just something I'm on the fence about, thinking about. We'll see
So I
how it
misspoke
goes.
earlier. Philadelphia is going to win the division, obviously, but I think this Dallas team. The problem with that missing the playoffs future is the fact that you need somebody else to step up. You need Atlanta to play well.
Yeah.
You need Green Bay to play well. You need Seattle to play well. I mean, you need those guys. I think Seattle can do it, but I'm not doing as much faith in like Atlanta or Green Bay right now. I think Atlanta's too young. Green Bay, same kind of situation. It's just so tough to find me a team that's gonna get past Dallas, even though I don't buy into it as much. I kind of like Dallas -2 in this game. Chargers always gonna charger in this kind of spot. Their defense is atrocious. I think this could be a game where Dallas throws all over them. I kind of like Dallas team total here. If I'm gonna lean one spot, it'd be Dallas team total over. Just with how bad this Chargers secondary is. But besides that, I kind of pass in the game. I think it's a pretty fair spot for the market with Dallas getting their shit kicked in.
Do you like? Wait, who do you like then? You like?
I lean Dallas. I lean the team total, but I think
Yeah.
it's I think it's
Pick 'em.
gonna
Who are
stay
you
away.
going with? Dallas team
Oh,
total is
Dallas, yeah.
26.5, by the way.
26.5, so 3 touchdowns, 27, 28. Yep, right in that range.
And then Dallas pick 'em. Okay. Okay. All right. That was our last game of the week. Still gonna be a good one. I will say though, I just looked up the odds for the Dallas to miss the playoffs. It's only plus 270. Not juicy enough for me to go to the grave with, so I probably will not be on that future. And yeah, I don't see the Commanders or Giants coming close.
Yep.
Competing for that second spot.
Before we go into our top 5 teams, I just want to give you guys a play. I have the Orioles over 1.5 home runs at plus 170.
You know, if
I
it's
like
not fucking raining outside, maybe I could connect to you guys.
But yeah, so that is
What's that audio? Commanders who?
the Orioles over 1.5 home runs plus 170.
Night?
Yes, I added it to my slate.
Yeah. Interesting. Why don't you just you're not leaning a guy though that you like?
I
Maybe
do
some
like
better odds?
Evaldi. He's a
Hard to
jammer.
pinpoint a guy, but
Yeah, Evaldi is a jammer or a slammer, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, who would you take for home runs? Like you can
Oh,
get better odds on just a player, like Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman. Those are the guys that hit him. Maybe Cedric Mullins, Mateo, on those 4. But just, I mean, I like the 2 home runs, but honestly, you're getting better odds
yeah,
if you
like
just pick a
maybe
guy or
Austin
2.
Hayes to get one.
Yeah, maybe lean that way. I don't know, just a thought. Who do you like in that game? You can talk a little baseball on here. We're open to all sports. Who do you like in that O's game tonight? In game 3 at Texas. Texas
Everything
can close
is
it out with a win, by the way.
everything is telling me excuse me. Everything is telling me to just go with Texas. They're gonna slam them again, but I'm riding with the O's, man. I've been big on them all year. I don't know, the pitching matchup. I like Evaldi. He's a wagon. He's a beast, man. In the playoffs, I faded him on the Red Sox, but he is good on the Rangers. So, but again, I want to keep this pod moving fast. Maybe talk about this off stream. I say we get into our top 5 teams.
Yeah, and then I did get we forgot to do this earlier. I don't care if we scratch it or not. I just want to bring it up. I did get a fantasy team review. Do we want to do that or no? Did get one sent to me.
I don't mind doing it. I just think it's hard to do, like pull it up on the screen and have it that way, like without a visual. It's hard to do.
So do we want to skip it or no?
It's up to you.
I mean, we can do it, I guess. We'll do it at the end. And Nate can stick around. He can leave if you doesn't matter. He's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, let's do our top 5 teams before
yeah,
Nate has to leave.
Let's do that. Is he having connection issues still, or is he good?
No, I'm here. Hello.
Okay. Yeah. Who wants to start? I have my list ready. If you guys don't.
Yeah, go ahead. Kick us off.
I don't.
And go. I actually. All right. Well, I'll go through my teams right now, and then I'll say what I had to say about that. But my teams are the Niners at 1. They're juggernauts of the NFL. I don't see them losing anybody right now. I can't see any but team in the league, not even the Buffalo Bills beating this Niners team. Asked me that question last week, I would say otherwise. after that, or yeah, after that Bills win over the Dolphins. But anyways, I got the Niners at 1, juggernauts of the league. Eagles, the only undefeated team left other than them. They're 5-0, got there somehow. You'll have to give them some respect. I'm going them at 2. Not gonna overthink that. I'm finally gonna push the Chiefs into my top 5, and I'm actually going with them at 3. Still don't love their offensive weapons, but as long as Mahomes is sitting there at leading the helm, they're gonna be a top 5 team anytime. They're 4-1, still winning games. Kelsey out though is something to monitor. Uh, they have a 3-win though this week, right? Double digit spread, yeah. So I'm gonna have them at 3 here. Keep them there. This was close between them and the Dolphins, but I am gonna go Dolphins at 4. Tua looked like an MVP. Actually, no, he did not last week. He had 2 picks. I take that back. It's a bad Giants team, but he did enough. He scored 31 points. They got it done. I think he'll be forced to air it out more moving forward too with Chan going down. We got Hill Waddle, so I think he airs it out, gets some pads his stats a little bit more moving forward. I'm going Dolphins at 4, and then I have the Lions getting their first top 5 appearance for me this year. They've shown enough. I'm going Lions at 5. They're 4-1. They're rolling. They just piss pounded Carolina on the road or at home in a spot where a lot of people I saw on Twitter everywhere thought that Panthers were going to cover that game. No chance. Hutchinson was everywhere. That offense was everywhere. Amon-Ra didn't play, correct? You guys know?
Yep.
Yeah, so they still looked good without him. I mean, yeah, give me the Lions in my top 5 here. I will say though, this Jay Gruden guy on Twitter came out with his top 5 list, and we had the exact same list. Pretty interesting. But so shout out to him. I think he made a great list there for his top 5. JJ Gruden. But yeah, that's my top 5 this week, going into week 6. Maybe. But yeah, just interesting. We had the same exact list. I made mine before his came out. Interesting to see.
Nate, I saw you writing down something. You want to list out your top 5 teams for us?
Yep. I went with San Francisco as the best team in the league right now, currently. Just completely rolling after they dismantled Dallas. I think it says more about Dallas, but I think the San Francisco team just clicking on all cylinders. Um, Second place is Philadelphia. I think they're right behind them. They're right there. I think it's like 1A, 1B almost, more than a 1-2. But third I have KC. They're still rolling. Still playing great even with Kelsey not being 100%. I think they'll be fine, obviously. Detroit in my number 4 spot. Looked great all year. Fantastic offensively. Just clicking so much. Jared Goff. What a trade for the Matt Stafford and Jared Goff trade. What a trade. And then my 5 spot is Miami. Tua didn't look great last week, but that team just talented all over the place. Speed. I mean, gonna be tough to watch. Obviously, the Bills blew them out, but they're still solid. So that's my top
Buffalo is
5.
snubbed out of your top 5.
The top. Yeah, well, I didn't
They're
hear.
also
Was it
out
in
of my
Kyle's
top
top
5
5?
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We had a similar list
that's
there, Nate.
crazy.
I think you
Okay,
just had. Would you
so
have it 5 right there? Miami, yeah. So we just had Dolphins and Miami flipped or Lions flipped. That's it.
yeah, so I'm going with my complete non-biased top 5. I have the Buffalo Bills as the best team in the
Don't
league
say
right
that.
now. We got beat, had
3-2.
some few injuries, 3-2, but the Buffalo
London
Bills.
scheduling as well. Throw that in
Okay,
there.
yep. The Buffalo Bills are my best team in the league. Put them up against any team, they're probably favorites. The number 2
Well,
spot, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, like the Bills, you put this team up against anyone in the playoffs, they beat anybody. Chiefs at 2. At number 3, I have the Eagles. They're undefeated for a reason. They're very good. However, I do think that offense struggles. Jalen Hurts have been keeping them alive in games. At number 4, I have the Lions. Love the coach. They're playing great football. Get a sneaky future in on them to win the NFC this year, make the Super Bowl.
what's those odds at?
I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, I have a Detroit Lions Super Bowl and NFC future.
Yeah,
Of
I like
course.
that. And then
What do you have it at, Nate?
Beginning of the year, let's see here. Detroit Lions 25-1 to win it all and 10-1 to win the conference. I have San
What do you
Francisco
want
as well, though, to win the
conference?
NFC. So that San Francisco ticket looks
Yep.
great right now.
Conference
And
winner, they're
then
700 right now. Lions
and
are.
then at number 5, I have the Miami Dolphins. They're electric. They score points. So I'm going to relist my top 5 again. I have the Bills at 1, the Chiefs at 2, the Eagles at 3, the Lions at 4, and the Dolphins at 5.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of that list is good.
The
Just the 3
49ers
and 2
are
Bills at
snubbed.
1.
I just don't think they've done enough to be in the top 5. I mean, I'm not sold on Brock Purdy. He gets carried by the guys around him. I think when they come up against a legit powerhouse, they're going to be in trouble, and the Cowboys did not pan out to be that powerhouse. So,
Dude, I'm forced to challenge you before we end here. I
all
mean,
right, ask me
how aren't the
questions.
Niners top 5? You say the Purdy, right? But what about the supporting cast around him? Isn't that good enough to be top 5, even if it's not Purdy?
I mean, it could be, but I mean, I just don't think their wins
I
are
mean, they're
quality
5
enough.
and 0, bro.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, they
and then
beat up on the Cowboys team,
yeah,
who's not really that good.
we'll clip up a few of these, especially with your Bills at 1 there, and we'll see the chirps later on
I
tonight on
mean, yeah,
TikTok.
and the Buffalo Bills, as the best team in the league, is non-biased too. I mean, I would put them up against any team in the league and say they're favorites. Maybe besides the Chiefs and Mahomes. Comes to the playoff, see us in the playoffs, and then talk to me then. We are the best team in the league. I still think we win the Super Bowl this year. It is our year, non-biased.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We want to shout out a parlay or anything, or just end it here?
Oh, lock teasers maybe? Do we want to give?
Oh yeah, I do want to give my teaser. I have mine ready. I'll just say it real quick. It's the Bears plus 8.5 versus the Vikings, and it is my favorite spot of the week. The Colts getting 10 points at Jacksonville. I'm gonna hold my nose throughout the Bears game. Hopefully they cover the 8.5. But like I said, I think they went outright, and then the Colts is my favorite spot. So I'll say it again: the Bears plus 8.5 and the Colts plus 10. My lock
Yeah,
teaser of the
I'm
week.
gonna ride that for 2.5 units.
I think I'm 3 and what are we, week 6? I think I'm 3-2 going into week 5 with them. We're going into week 6 with them. Oh, gotta be a little bit better
I'm
there,
riding
but
it. Nate, you got a lock teaser?
Yeah, I'm thinking if you can find the 6.5 on Los Angeles, teasing that down to a half point, like that, and then the Chargers +2, teasing that to +8, getting it
oh,
through
I
the two
love
key
that.
numbers.
What's the
Chargers
first one you said? My
+8.
bad.
The Rams -1.
Okay, I like that too. I might add that to my card. Add that to my card. Yeah, I'll throw a unit on that.
Yeah, Kyle. I think for once we align on a teaser. I'm with you with yours. I just locked it in. Bears plus 8.5, Colts plus 10.5. I will also ride Nate's as well.
All right. I
That
think we are gonna leave off the fantasy today. Sorry guys if you're watching out there for the fantasy review. Forgot to get that in earlier in the pod, so that's on us. But
yeah. So I think that wraps it up for us. Thanks to Licks and Locks Nate to coming on. Hopefully we can make this work every week. It's always good having another member on there. Maybe we could get the full Licks and Locks crew on for one podcast this year. And that's about all we have for tonight. So we'll see you guys later. Wait, any hot
Bills.
I
takes?
have
Quick hot
one
takes.
last thing. Dallas Goedert on Prize Picks did go green.
Talked about it last week.
His line was yeah, I talked about it last week. Yes, over 34.5 receiving yards I gave out. He went for I think 117.
And on your
so
Super Goats or whatever.
yeah, the Prize Picks was over
Yeah, what's the
0.5 100-yard receiving games. He got it last week. So
What
that
else
one's
do you have
sweet.
though?
Oh, I have a bunch.
Is
but
Thielen cake in that one?
yeah,
Yeah,
Thielen is
so-
cake. He just got another touchdown. I'll just pull up my entry real quick. It's at 4.5. He's at 3 now. Keeps getting these goal line touches or touchdowns in the last minute of the game. But here it is. This went green. Goddard and Howell's on pace. Smith is on pace. Sanders on pace. Thielen's the one that's looking rough. I'm not gonna lie. He's looking like he's skyrocketing over this. I won't lie. And Pacheco just had another touchdown last week, so he's at 3 out of 5.5 right now. But Thielen is selling. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably going over.
Nate, got any hot takes for us?
And the other ones.
Not really. No.
That's the one I wanted to talk about.
I think you put me in the spot.
Yeah, I don't got any either. I was just wondering. It's
I don't
okay.
have a hot take either, other than if this is even a hot take. Dallas is frauds. Dallas are frauds.
Oh. All right. Well, I think that wraps us up this week. Again, thanks to Nate for coming on. Hopefully to have him on a lot, and we'll see you guys next week. We're staying consistent with clips, and everything will be posted. We are staying super consistent throughout the whole year. We'll be seeing.